Now, we all know the UFC for a couple things. It could be the impressive amount of skill that these fighters have. It could be the amount of dick sucking that Joe Rogan does. Or it could literally be the fact
my balls was hot.
But overall, we know the UFC for a lot of very good and positive things. However, the UFC has some flaws, especially when it comes to the fighters. And today, I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest fall-offs in UFC history. Starting with...
It's been a year, Daddy. I really miss it.
Now, I know this is going to be a crazy opinion, and a lot of y'all are going to hate me for this. But in my opinion, the biggest fall-off in the division has to be Henry Cejudo. I mean, my guy went from beating the GOAT, getting double champion, all the way to losing his last 4 fights. I mean, the way my guy acted back when he beat DJ made him look like such a fucking cornball. But at least he could back it up. Now he's 38 years old and not even in the top 10. At least he's now retired and no longer making this.
You hear Triple C speak. Check out my physique.
Now, when we look at the featherweight division, there's a lot of killers and not many who have actually fallen off. There's people like Volk who have been brutally knocked out twice and still came back to regain the belt. However, there is an exception, and his name is Bryce Mitchell. And I know there's going to be people who are going to say, it's actually Jose Aldo. Shut the fuck up! You're forgetting that Jose Aldo was a 10-year champion who only lost because he got too old. And it was only because Conor McGregor fought him. And for Bryce Mitchell, this guy used to be one of the most hyped up prospects in the UFC, with him being 16-1 for a good while. But when sorry, I get so nervous. What the fuck am I doing? Yo, damn. But when my GOAT Ilia Topuria came around, he didn't even make it to the 3rd round. And ever since then, my guy's been dropping the ranks. Not only does he have CTE beyond repair, like, I don't even know if I could talk about the type of stuff he talks about. How the fuck has Dana not given this guy the boot? Like, this guy isn't even on the main card anymore. At least he managed to beat Saeed in order to keep his spot on the roster. But my guy's practically 1 loss away from getting kicked out. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets kicked out within the next year. Now, in my opinion, the lightweight division is the most competitive division in the UFC, with the entire top 5 being in the pound for pound ranking. And with this division being this good, you already know the fall off is going to be 10 times worse. And that's where I like to introduce you, Tony Ferguson. Now, I can't lie, I was a pretty big Tony Ferguson fan back in the day. Every fight this guy had was always destined to be a bloodbath. His fights with Anthony Pettis, Edson Barboza, and FDA were so much fun. Like, just imagining that fight with him and Khabib makes me get so hard. Wait, hold on. I mean, like, the only problem with him is the shit that he pulled in the Ultimate Fight. But apart from that, he still won. However, after Tony got back from his injury and had a couple fights, he had to go against the phenom known as Justin Gaethje. And during this fight, Tony got absolutely dismantled and stopped in the 5th round. But, you know, it's just one fight. You know, we all lose one every now and... Damn. Yeah, bro. After that Justin Gaethje fight, Tony lost his spark and went on a 7-fight losing streak, being forced out of the UFC. And not gonna lie, this was one of the worst ways for somebody of Tony's caliber to go out. But unfortunately, it's just kind of how it went. But at least he got his long-deserved win against Salt Pop. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, I swear I thought this guy was the dude who did the salt meme and made his own restaurant. Ah, wait, never mind. Now, compared to other weight divisions, we can all agree that the welterweight division is either one of the most entertaining divisions in the sport or one of the most boring. No in-betweens. Like, we have people like Kamaru Usman, Ian Gary, and Carlos Prates in the division absolutely cooking up these fights. On the other hand, we got this guy. Now, in my opinion, though, I believe that the person who's fallen off the most has to be Jorge Masvidal. Now, don't get me wrong. Just like Tony, I'm a big Masvidal fan. Ever since this guy's entered the UFC, every single one of his fights have been entertaining. For example, that one he had with Ben Askren, mwah. Perfect. And don't get me started on that Nate Diaz fight. It's just that in the past couple of his fights, my guy has been on the struggle bus. Like, not only did he lose his last 4 fights, but let's be honest, his title fight was never deserved, let alone giving him a second chance just to get destroyed by Kamaru Usman. And my only regret for him was the fact that he wasn't able to beat Colby Covington. I don't know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I hate Colby Covington. Like, for me, if you're gonna act this fake and hold a corny ass personality just to sell some fights, you have to at least be good. But if you're out here getting beat by Leon Edwards, get the fuck out of here. Now, I'm gonna be honest. When it came to finding someone who had fallen off in the middleweight division, I was kind of at a standstill, because there isn't really anyone who had fallen off to say. But that's when I remembered Paulo Costa. This guy in his prime was 13-0 and absolutely destroying everybody in his path. Not to mention, Costa's physique was one of a demigod. Because Holy shit, how does one even achieve this without steroids? There was even a point in the UFC where he was the most tested fighter on the roster. But even though he's so damn big, he still got destroyed by Izzy. And not gonna lie, he got dismantled. Like, Izzy just used his range and skill to not only beat him, but ruin his spirit. And ever since then, bro has not come back. Like, I have not remembered the last time I've seen a Paulo Costa fight in the top 3 of a card.
Yo, look at this fucking bullshit. Do a flip!
Now, when looking at the light heavyweight division, there's a lot of contenders for the biggest fall-off. But in my opinion, I believe that the most clear fall-off in the division has to be Jamal Hill. Like, to be honest, I don't know how the fuck this guy was even allowed to be champion. I mean, this guy is so bad that coaches used his footwork to show what not to do. Thank God Alex came in and shut the lights out of him, restoring peace to the light heavyweight division. Because holy shit, if this guy were to have stayed champion... Oh my God! Now, I know I'm just hating, but even the stats show it. In the past 4 of Jamal's fights, he's gone 1-3. And if I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna just get worse from here. Now, in my opinion, there's not been that many big fall-offs in the heavyweight division. So I'm just not gonna talk about it.